My name is Angela Ward. I would regard myself as being a jack of all trades and master of none in relation to music. I tend to clatter most instruments but make sounds out of them. I'm also a gardener, as you can see, and I've been known to throw paint around a piece of canvas, and my children say I would talk to a lamppost. So that was a good combination to bring forward to start working with Creative Places Edenderry.
And then fast forward a few more years, I saw this job advertised and thought, wow, instead of a venue like the Black Box in Belfast, Creative Places Edenderry, like the town is like the palette, if you like, or the town is like the canvas, and that's really exciting because you've got like a whole town to work with. So that doesn't mean that Creative Places Edenderry hits every single person, but it could, and something really great about that. So the opportunity to maybe come to a place that already has so much creativity but be some kind of a bridge was kind of exciting. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but my background is community music and I love to work with people and meet new people and travel.
I've always wanted to play music and to share it in small communities, because I do believe that music is just the most amazing way to help people to communicate. So I met Shauna and went looking for other musicians in Edenderry, and she approached me and asked me would I like to do a workshop, which I started to do. And when we started originally in the parish centre, I think there were only about 3 or 4 people. We started small, and every week I was hoping that people would continue to come. So it was a case of giving them out the words of songs and not taking no for an answer when somebody said they didn't want to sing. So I used music as a means of providing a place where people could chat and talk and be happy and listen to music if they wanted to, participate if they wanted to, and the most important one was to give them the confidence to perform. So Shona absolutely believed in me, facilitated me, and the group that started with 1 musician and 3 or 4 people has now expanded to anything up to 35 people on a Monday afternoon, including maybe 3 or 4 other musicians. So yes, my theory worked. Music helps people communicate.
Hi, my name is John Grogan. I'm a creative writing facilitator and playwright, and I live in Croghan, which is about 20 minutes outside of Edenderry. And a couple of years ago there was an ad placed in the library about an open meeting for Creative Places Edenderry. So I went along and I met Shona, who's the coordinator, for the first time, and she was informing everybody of this Creative Places project that was coming to Edenderry, and there was creative enterprises that were going to take place locally, and she was open to people just pitching ideas and talking about their practice and what they could maybe offer. So I proposed running some workshops, creative writing workshops on memoir writing and playwriting, and out of that I started to see the potential locally to engage in creative practices, and I hadn't known anything about that before. Usually I do my work in Dublin or further afield, so it was great to be able to do something local with local people and inspire creativity.
The days that are my favourite are whenever we meet a whole lot of different people all at once. So if we're able to, for example, I'll pick, we were asked to coordinate Hullabaloo Festival, which was a real privilege because that's normally Offaly Arts Office coordinated, but they asked if I would coordinate, and I said yes, but we would prefer that the community forum and that our community lead volunteers took the lead on that. So we asked Jenny Bergen to be the artist liaison. We kind of made that up, but that's so that she could be the person on the ground and I could take a kind of back step. But that day I was extremely proud of the whole team, because throughout Hullabaloo there have been lots of different events, but we also enjoy working with Festival in a Van. And Festival in a Van came and had a Halloween themed day, and we had done something similar last year, but I'd say we tripled in terms of people who attended that day, and it was just so much fun, you know, the word we were just talking about, but just and exciting that like every single person that came was dressed up. So we had like Woody from Toy Story, Casper, Ghost, I won't go through them all, but really detailed outfits that people put a lot of time into, and I was really proud of everyone. So we had Yolanda Rodriguez and her pupils dancing. We had Radar, who's such a brilliant local band. So we had a range of performers. We also had some arts and crafts on the day. Becca Thorne was facilitating that. Jenny Bergen was helping, and Ailish Moran. So I think the whole team effort for the day and the production of Festival in a Van all coming together was brilliant. I think that was my favourite if I had to pick.
I loved when the workshop was on up at the cabin. The cabin had been painted absolutely beautiful, and the community were invited along to help out. I love sunflowers, so I went straight for a massive sunflower, and I had great pleasure in painting in the sunflower, and the whole thing looks absolutely brilliant. And again, I think it brought the community together. You know, there were people up there that I hadn't met before, either through the radio station or through Creative Places Edenderry. So it was great to see new people. And the events then that they had down at the canal with the painted fishes, that was gorgeous. And sometimes I go down actually just to have a look to make sure that the fish are all there and they're all looking good. It's a great. It brings great community spirit to Edenderry.
Jenny, thank you so much. Round of applause for Jenny.
The other amazing event that happened was October last year. John Maguire's The Witch Had It Coming. Oh my God. That was an artist commission that he put on for Halloween, and the stage was amazing. The effort that he put into that was fantastic. He made a massive, I think 7-foot spider and hung it from the ceiling. And as he came in through the back way of the school outside, it was like a graveyard. But the play itself was amazing. And Angie Ward played the witch, and the witch had it coming. Absolutely brilliant.
So, most memorable occasion was I applied for the seed funding. Shona encouraged me to do it, and having worked with two other artists from Creative Places, I came across the concept of personalising the bog and writing a play around it, which I did. It totally focused my attention for quite a while. What I did was I personified the bog, and I played the part of Mother Bog, and I encouraged other members of the Monday group and Acoustic Arts to come on stage with me. So at any one stage, which was most memorable, I had an 87-year-old lady singing, stunning everybody with her vocal cords, and I had other gentlemen of 83 and 84 standing up and being counted and singing and being heard. One of them, Matty in particular, had never been on stage, and he said to me, "Angie, it would be a wonderful experience to do before I left this world." So it was a huge success, something I'm very, very proud of. I had some excellent musicians. Eddie Byrne in particular did all the lights and the sound and the music, and so much so that we're putting it on again tomorrow in Clonbelag.
The Mother Bog, it just was phenomenal. When I heard, we actually had Angie Ward in here to talk about the project that she got the artist commission for, And she had explained what it was, and it sounded great. But on the night, it was phenomenal. The atmosphere, the stage, and the amount of work that went into it was absolutely brilliant. I'd never seen anything like it before. And a fair play to Angie, and fair play to the acoustic arts who were involved in it. But it was absolutely brilliant. And Creative Places Edenderry brought that to Edenderry.
I didn't really know what to expect. I just thought I'd go along. It just sounded like a good idea, creativity locally and engaging with the local community, and it just seemed like a good opportunity to get involved in something that was just down the road from where I lived. And everything that I have been involved in since then has been positive, and it's been, really enriching, and just good fun.
I find sometimes with Edenderry, while there are different groups, they're maybe fractured, or there's no link between them. And for a community radio station like ours, we're constantly saying, come along, get involved. And I think sometimes it can be hard to get people engaged. I think maybe they fear radio, they fear the microphone, or maybe they walk by the studio, and I think maybe sometimes they want to come in, but don't understand that actually they can just knock at the door and they can come in. So we found from the beginning that Creative Places Edenderry made a link between a lot of the groups, and especially for ourselves here. It just added an extra element. So for me personally, when I'm trying to find people maybe to come in and interview, or to find out about what's going on in Edenderry, I can go to Seanad and say, what's going on, is there anything new starting? And she lets me know when there's anything coming up.
A little bit different because I'm the coordinator, so my expectations for Creative Places Edenderry, I knew I was coming in about a year and a half in. There'd already been a coordinator, so my expectations were to meet the project where it already was, to get a feel for the town. As you can tell by my accent, I'm from a little further north, and just reassure anyone that had already been working on the project that all voices are welcome. Our project evaluator Connor asked me at the very beginning what I would see as success, and I said accessibility. We actually had a bit of a debate about what that meant, but what I mean is, if you're interested in Creative Places Edenderry, you should be able to access it easily. So my expectations were this would be an open project that anyone felt they could be part of. It wouldn't be too prescriptive, and it would be flexible and fluid, so depending on who you're working with and what the art form would be. I definitely expected a wide range of art forms, a wide range of people, and lots of fun. That's what I expected.
Okay, so the Monday Music Group, my normal day will start packing my car, putting on a face to meet the faces, and leaving home at about quarter to 1 to go into the parish centre. So then we go in there, and there's usually 1 or 2 others with me, and we set up the gear, coffee, tea, everything else like that. And come about 1:45, I just get an influx of people. I've worked hard at the relationship with them, so most people will want to come and say, "Hi Angie, how are you?" And I'll welcome them and make sure they're happy and encourage them to sing and joke and laugh and say what new song they have and don't have. So it takes quite a while for everybody to come in and have their seat. We have a crowd of people coming down from independent living who all just love the music. The core group, my ethos of it all is autonomy and inclusion, and that just seems to work. So age or ability are things we don't ever have to consider.
Well, the first workshop I ran in the parish centre, it was an introduction to memoir writing, and the idea was to use certain prompts to get people to remember a story or something from their lives that they could write about, some short pieces. We're using things like maybe a photograph, or a time where you felt out of place or you weren't sure about the situation, and out of that came some great pieces of writing. And one in particular, there was a guy called Mick Whelan, and he wrote a piece called Blue Thunder, which was about him and his father going to a pub and he wanting to get home to see his favourite show, which was a show called Blue Thunder. And what happened was they actually were in the pub when the show was on, and they got the barman, he put it on the TV so Mick could watch it. But he wrote a really strong emotional piece about that experience, and up to that point, as far as I can recall, I don't think Mick had ever publicly shared his work or shared a piece of writing, and he read it out in the room, and it was powerful. And I think subsequently it has inspired Mick to continue writing, and I believe that he's applied to Maynooth University to do creative writing in English in the new year. So I think that was a really nice moment for me as well, that I was able to unlock something in somebody that helped them creatively, and also I suppose for your well-being as well, because I think writing, only makes things better, and it's a really powerful tool, to have in your toolkit to just help you, I think. Yeah.
I'm quite confident in the foundations that we have. Funding was fantastic, but I think Shauna's individual endorsement as a fellow musician and the facilities that were laid open to me gave me the confidence to continue this group in a voluntary capacity. And I can see it going from strength to strength. Just as an individual, I'm going to go into the independent living again on a Thursday morning to be able to share what I've learned with another group of older people from the community. And I'm going to try and amalgamate the group with the Clumballogue community, which have nothing out there, and I have a lot of family out there. So no, this group is here to stay, and I think all you need to do is to go in to talk to the elderly people and you'll get that endorsement that you need. So yes, this group it's here to stay.
So going forward with Creative Places Edenderry, what I'd like to see is that the groups that are already well established, the Tuesday activity and Angie Ward's the Acoustic Arts, and Eleanor Farrelly's Tuesday group, the Visual Arts. I'd like to see groups like these, that they stay, that they continue on, and that it gathers momentum, and that when Creative Places Edenderry leaves Edenderry, that it is left with a foundation that we're all going to be able to build on. There is a group of like-minded people who want to see it continuing on, and fingers crossed that's the way it's going to be.
And it's also exciting because year 5 and 6, we're not going to go right back to the beginning, but we want to make sure that we reach out wider into the community. We are a small team, but we're very lucky that within the governance team we work with Municipal District Edenderry, and we work with social housing and different community development workers. So we want to just be able to reach out further, but not leaving behind anyone that we've already worked with. So for example, one of the pieces of work in the plan is that someone that we've been working with over the past few years, for example Jenny Bergen, Nesrin Elizali, Angie Ward, Eleanor Farley, would mentor and support new groups that are happening. And that's exciting because it's kind of happening already. So in terms of spin-offs, we have the Grand Canal, the Wooden Fish and the mural is going to be extended because Edenderry Tidy Towns want to do that. So I got that call the other day, so independent of us, they're going to support Jenny Bergen to extend the fish. They'll be the whole way to Limerick at the end of the project. And another exciting development was that a group of women that attend the community social on a Friday wanted to start a new group. They approached Offaly Local Development Company and they offered the cabin for free twice a week. That's currently called the Witches Circle. So there's a couple of new groups that are starting independent of us. That's perfect, that's what we would like. So if there's something that we can inspire or support, brilliant. Or if people have their own ideas, they can also do that. But moving forward, want to encourage new ideas and make sure that we're still working with a wide age range and all of the art forms. So for example, I don't think we've had like a comedy club yet, or we haven't had kind of open mic style sessions. There's a young person in the community who would like to have jam sessions, so we should be able to support that person if we can pay to have the venue hire for them, or if we can just match them up with people in the community. So I think year 5 and year 6 is going to be really interesting.